Hello and welcome to Downtown. I'm your host, Robbie Haigh, and as usual, we're very happy to have you be part of our show. Thank you for tuning in. Today, I am talking with Tim Cruz, who is District Attorney for the Plymouth County. Welcome. It's been a long time since we've had you here, Tim. I'm sorry to say that, but...
Well, it's great to be back, Robbie. It was a lot of fun last time. I'm glad to be back today.
Good to have you back.
Thanks.
Okay, and generally you update us on all of the bad stuff that's going on around us.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there are a lot of challenging things going on, not just in our county, but in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And I think it's great that people understand what it is what the district attorney does, and also a lot of the things that perhaps you don't know what we do.
And we don't.
Yeah. So I mean, so basically, if there's a crime that occurs in my county, in Plymouth County, my office would be in charge of the prosecution of that case at the state level. So for any crime that occurs in the jurisdiction of our 4 district courts, Brockton, Plymouth, Hingham, or Wareham, assistant DAs will work with the local police and put cases together, whether they be anything from a trespass or a drunk driving, all the way to homicides. So we carry all those cases from misdemeanors to felonies. And also, we work with the local police. However, as soon as there is a homicide, say for instance, by statute, that case would be transferred to the state police who work for the district attorney, who will work in conjunction with the local police. So if something terrible happened in one of our towns, the local police, if they found a body, they would call the state police who work for my office, and then those state police will work with the local police, who will work with an assistant DA who will be assigned to that case, and others, and also victim witness advocates to deal with family members who, let's face it, most people, we see people really at the most difficult times in their lives.
Absolutely.
And so it's very important to try to let people understand what it is that we do and how we can get to where we need to get to.
And the wonderful thing is that you're all communicating. You all know what's happening from the beginning straight through.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that the state police worked from your office.
Yeah, we have, every district attorney's office has a number based upon population of troopers that work for them. So in our county, we have 24 state troopers who are assigned to the Plymouth County District Attorney's Office, and they're our detectives. Half of them will do homicide cases, the other half will do major drug investigations, and there's always other things that will pop up also that they get involved in also. So they're very busy, and they work under the direction of a lieutenant or a captain who may be in charge of that unit, but also they'll be working with the district attorney's office so that if something happens and you need to put together a search warrant or affidavits in support of search warrants, they can talk to the lawyers, figure out, do we have enough evidence to proceed, and if we do, what direction do we go? Do we go to, is it a very serious case that we're going to go to Superior Court, which means we would go through a grand jury process, or will it remain in district court and stay there?
24 doesn't sound like a lot.
It isn't a lot. I don't think it's a lot. I agree with you. I think because Plymouth County is a very big geographic area. It's roughly 700 square miles. We have 500,000 people that live there. We go from Brockton, Bridgewater area all the way down to Lakeville, Marion, Mattapoisett, Rochester, Middleborough, Lakeville, down Wareham, Carver, all up and down the coast. So we really have, in our county anyways, Brockton's a very urban community, I think it's fair to say, and we have a lot of suburbia, and we also have small little towns that are very quiet, but still the police officers there, the public safety people there have a really important job, and we continue to work with them also.
Wow. So you don't only deal with deaths.
Right.
There are other parts of your jurisdiction, like abuse, elder abuse you deal with, and
we actually have very specialized units now that deal with the variety of cases that come about. So therefore we have certainly homicide prosecutors, but we also have domestic violence prosecutors, child abuse prosecutors, senior family protection teams whereby people will try to make sure that we can protect our seniors. There's enhanced penalties here in Massachusetts for people who choose to physically abuse elders and seniors here in our community, and we certainly take those very serious. And although I think if you follow the newspapers, it appears that crime's going down, it doesn't really appear to me that our crime's going down against seniors. And even if that may not be on the physical end of it, what we really end up dealing with many times is dealing with a lot of the scams and the people who are ripping off seniors and taking advantage of seniors. And that happens not just in Plymouth County, but all over the place. And I think it's really important for the district attorney, as the chief law enforcement official of their respective counties, to get out and talk to seniors before something happens. Right. Because of the fact that, if somebody scams money out of you, they're usually not going to be from around here, and it's probably virtually going to be impossible to get your money back. So therefore, I think we try, in our county, we do senior luncheons every year. We go to our Council on Agings and talk to seniors, and we will go and talk about the various issues. We talk to triad groups, which are partnerships between the district attorney's office, the sheriff's department. Sheriff McDonald does a great job up our way with the local police and fire and public and safety, and really trying to keep seniors apprised as maybe local scams that may be going on that we're all dealing with right now. I think everybody's getting calls from the IRS. And,
absolutely. I had 6 calls in one day telling me it was the last chance. That's
right, and that they're going to come and arrest you. And I tell everybody, for the most part, a little law enforcement secret, that if police officers or any federal agency is going to come arrest you, they're never going to call you. They're going to come get you.
That makes sense,
so make sure that if somebody's calling you and threatening you with arrest, that should get your antennas up that this is a scam. And they many times will try to take advantage of people. They will try to scare people. They will try to shock people into giving them information. Whether it be the IRS scam or there's a jury scam going on around right now that people will call up and they'll make a phone call and go, "Is this Tim Cruz?" And you say yes. And they said, "Well, there's a warrant out for your arrest." Now all of a sudden you're backpedaling because you don't know what they're talking about.
You're shocked.
That's right. And so they say to you, "You didn't show up for jury duty." And now I don't know about you, but if you get jury notices like I get jury notices, they're very thin pieces of paper. I'd be thinking to myself, did it get stuck in some other flyer and I didn't see it and I missed it? So they tell you that there's a warrant for your arrest, and then they'll say, "Okay, Cruz, where do you live?" And I give them my address. "What's your social security number?" And then once you give your social security number, they say, "Oh, you're right, it's not you, it's another Tim Cruz. I'm very sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much, click." So they're getting information from you by shocking it out of you. So once again, they're not going to call you up and tell you you're going to be arrested. Just like people don't call and tell you that. That's right. And it's just like, if you've been notified either through the mail or if you've been notified on the phone that you won the Canadian lottery. Once again, another secret. If you didn't play the Canadian lottery, you didn't win it. So therefore, but what they'll do is they will shock people, and unfortunately, they will target seniors because I think they believe that seniors are more trusting than maybe a lot of other people that are out there. And they'll say to you, "You won a brand new car up in Toronto. All you've got to do is pay the taxes." So you send like $1,500 up there, and you're going to get your brand new 2018, whatever it is. You send your money, it's going to be gone, and you're not getting a car. So I think, once again, like everything, if it sounds too good to be true, it is. Be very careful with your information. The people are consistently phishing out there, going online, on your phones, on your internet. People are going to be throwing emails at you that look official. Right. But once again, your bank is not calling you up asking you for your PIN number. They're not calling, your credit card company is not sending you an email asking for information that if they were legitimate, they already have. But they try to, they send out these things. And that's the thing. Lots of times, a lot of seniors don't come forward because they're embarrassed. And that's the worst thing you can do.
And they're so obedient.
You're right.
By nature.
Right.
You ask me a question, I need to give you the answer.
Sure.
Especially with the law.
And I think it's so important for people to understand that it's more important than ever that if you do get scammed, you should understand that the people that are scamming you are good at it. Yeah. They're professionals. And the only way that we're going to be able to get in front of these scams is by people talking about it and saying, "Hey, this happened to me." Get the word out to your friends at the Council on Aging or wherever else you may go and hang out. Talk to people about it. I mean, it may be a little bit of embarrassment, but wouldn't you rather be embarrassed that something happened to you because you were a trusting person, you believed them, you didn't do anything wrong, and that other people perhaps, they're going to go to the next person. And I think it's important for people to understand that these people are very good at what they do. They're not calling from around here. They usually are calling from far away, and they're trying to get our information and trying to get your money, and everybody's worked hard for their money over their lifetime, and now we're in a position to make sure that you can keep the money, your money, and do with it as you want versus somebody who's going to try to scam it out of you.
Right. I've heard recently also that there was an effort to cut down on a lot of these robotic calls.
There are do not call procedures that you can cut down on them, both on the state and also the national level. And part of the things that we do in my office is we will do our senior luncheons every year. We do luncheons around the county, and we will bring in people who will speak. Usually we'll bring in either a retired postmaster, or who'll talk about mail issues and mail fraud. We just did one in Brockton a few weeks ago where we brought in an FBI agent who talked about a lot of the scamming going on. And I think that people need to understand that this information is really important to make sure that you get it and you don't put yourself in a position to put your information out there. So there are scams out there, and when people are trying to get information from you, that should really get you concerned. Mm-hmm. That people are trying to get that info from you. They don't have any right to it, right. And they're trying to get it for nefarious reasons, which you will never get your money back. And
like you said, they're very good at what they do.
They're good at what they do, yeah. They really
or
are.
They wouldn't do it.
That's right. And you know what? It's like everything else. If they call 20 people, all they need is one person.
Right.
And then that's going to cover them for that time period. And once again, somebody will talk to them. And I know that many seniors that I've talked to over the years, they feel it's rude, because I tell them, if you pick up your phone, if you don't have caller ID, which I would suggest everybody get,
yep.
But if you pick up your phone and you're talking to somebody, just hang up. Right. And I often tell the story of the woman that felt it was rude to hang up.
Right.
So therefore, what she would do is she grabs her Bible and she starts reading from her Bible to the person until he hangs up on her. So a way that she combats that herself, and I think once again they target seniors who they feel may be alone, mm-hmm. and they're looking for somebody to talk to, and the longer they keep you on the phone, the more likely it is they're going to be able to get you to either buy something or get and extrapolate some information from you. Mm-hmm. So therefore, hanging up quickly is definitely the way to go.
And I think seniors are more and more often, they're getting the information from you and what's going on in the community, and they're learning that it's a very important thing that they speak out and speak up.
It is, and it's important for us to continue to go out there and talk about it every year, which is why we do it in our county every year. I know many of my brother and sister DAs do it also in their respective counties. Mm-hmm. And I think that because when you talk to a senior who's been ripped off from somebody, and like I said, you're not going to get that money back. Mm-hmm. So the prevention of it is, and then after we do these, people will always show me pieces of paper that they got in the mail. They'll always show me, they tell me these people are calling me, mm-hmm. What should I do? And basically, once again, get caller ID, mm-hmm. hang up if you have to, and don't go forward with it. Yeah. And another thing that we should all be doing also is making sure that we just don't throw our mail away. That we get. We should be shredding our mail.
Very good.
You can get a shredder for very short money in any mm-hmm.
business
store. You can get that and shred it, because a lot of people will go dumpster diving and get those old applications. I mean, we all get applications every day from virtually every credit card imaginable, or mm-hmm. something else. Something else is looking for your info. Mm-hmm. And if you just throw that out and that trash gets transferred to, say, wherever it's going to end up, people are going through that stuff. Mm-hmm. So therefore, it's important to destroy it. And also make sure you're in your pocketbooks, in your purses, in your wallets, all your credit cards. Make sure you keep track of your credit card numbers. Take photocopies of that stuff so that you have that.
Very good.
So that way, if you lose it, you're able to make the phone call and cancel your card, because somebody else is going to jack it up. So make sure you have copies of it. And another thing we often see all too often is people carry too much stuff with them, including the Social Security card. Now, there's no reason for anybody to have a Social Security card carrying it with them anymore.
Weren't we at one time supposed to carry our Social Security card with us?
It may have been, but now, in light of the fact, like with your driver's license now is no longer your Social Security number.
That's right.
You have a driver number now that's put on your card because for the purposes of security.
Sure.
So there really is no reason to carry it. But if you lose your purse, if you lose your wallet, or if somebody takes it from you, that's your Social Security number, and that is the key to get into virtually everything that you have.
Right.
So leave that at home, leave it in a safe deposit box, leave it in a safe location. I mean, let's face it, we all know our Social Security numbers.
Absolutely.
So I don't think I need a hard copy of mine.
Very good.
So carrying it around and things such as that, let's get rid of those things, because it's certainly it's something that we don't need, and if you lose it, it's just going to create a lot more problems for you.
Sure. And you know, this is just not a one thing. This is when somebody contacts you by phone too many times and so on, it's a scary thing. You think about it at other times. You know, what are they trying to get from me during the evening? Is
Right.
anybody watching me?
Right.
You know, it's really
It
it's
is
a scary
It
world.
is, and you know what? The people that are calling you, I mean, I don't think they're all thieves, but I think they always call it they always call it dinner time.
Yes,
they
they
always
do.
call it a time that they know you're going to be there, and they're always annoying because they're always trying to get stuff from you. So there are do not call lists that you can get, that you can go on, both state and national. And at our senior luncheons, we give out those numbers. And if anybody's interested in those numbers, we would have them at our office at 508-584-8120. We would have those numbers to give to you.
Thank
It's also
you.
on our website, the Plymouth County DA's office website. We have all that information right
Excellent.
there so that people can go on there and look and see what's there. But for the most part, the individuals that are calling you, those things usually only last like a year. Like I talked to many people who say, I signed up for the state do not call list, and it worked for a while, but eventually, yeah, they work themselves around it so that they will somehow work around it as usual, much like with your emails, much like with your texts. They get in there, and you get things, like I said, that look legit.
And like you said, they're good at what they do.
That's right.
But they have time to update and go around and.
Well, there's so many seniors in the world, in America now,
Right.
I mean, I think 1 out of 8 people, I think, are seniors over the age of 65.
Yeah.
So therefore, they have a big pool of people that they can go fishing in. And eventually, invariably, they will get somebody who will, for whatever reason, be trusting, the scam of your grandson's been arrested in Ohio and you have to come up with bail money all of a sudden, all those things. And when it happens, $1,000, $2,000, money that you've worked for, money that you've earned, all of a sudden that money's gone forever.
Yeah.
And people are calling us up asking, what can you do? And what we will do is I'll always reach out to the federal authorities, because usually it exceeds the jurisdiction of Massachusetts. The people aren't calling from down the street in my county. People are either in multi-counties, or they are in different states, or they may not even be in this country. So the only way to even attempt to get it back would be through the feds. And quite honestly, they don't have the resources to be chasing those sort of things.
Yeah.
And so unless it was an incredibly large sum of money, and I think we all have our own views of what's large and what's not large. To
If
me,
they've taken all you have,
that's right.
then it's the largest.
Absolutely. And whether or not they're going to be in a position to go back and try to help you get that. But I think they've also realized that once it's gone, it's gone. And that's why prevention is so important. That's why getting in front of these things is important. And renewing people of the latest scams, I think, is important.
Let's talk a little bit about the opioid problem we have.
Yeah.
And it's all over.
Sure is.
I'm asking the question, and I'm thinking I know the answer anyway. Are seniors involved in the opioid problem?
Yeah, they certainly are. I mean, first and foremost, I think when they have their old prescription medication, whether it be the unwanted, unneeded, expired prescription meds, it's not unusual for seniors to keep those old meds in their medicine chest. And what we see many times is that when the grandkids come over, or the grandkids' friends come over, maybe they use your bathroom, all of a sudden the seniors will find out their pills are missing, or they've been replaced with Advil or something else. It's not the pill they're looking for, especially for the opiates, the Oxycontins, the Oxycodines. When you're talking on the street, the value of those, there used to be 80 milligram tablets of Oxycontin. They've changed that now. Now they're 30 milligrams. They call them Perc 30s, Percocet 30s. Okay. But the 80 milligrams, they were on the street, it's $1 a milligram. So therefore, you're talking $80 a pill is what it was street value. And if somebody purchased that, even a generic version, you probably get it, through your prescription through the drugstore for $4. So if you're buying them for $4 and you're selling them for $80, it's a lot of money. It's a big markup. So therefore, what we've done in Plymouth County, and many other district attorneys' offices have done it also. We now have in virtually every police department a box where people can bring at any time, 24 hours a day, 365 a year, their unwanted, unused, unneeded prescription medication. And we've worked out an arrangement, myself and the sheriff, we've worked out an arrangement with Covanta Energy, which is located in the Rochester Middleborough area, and we take the drugs there, and they're destroyed, and they're not flushed, which is bad for the environment.
Right.
They're put back, they're destroyed, and that creates energy, which is once again used back in our community. we've gotten rid of thousands of pounds over the last
Very
5
good.
or 6 years that we've been doing this. And also I think we've been able to remove at least one aspect of the drugs that are out there, so that once again, people wouldn't be targeting seniors for their medications. And that's one avenue of what I think seniors can do, or anybody can do, quite honestly, that gets the medication. Because let's face it, for a period of time, if you had a toothache, they'd be giving you way more prescription medication than you ever need.
Correct.
I mean, you really only need like a mixture of Aleve and Tylenol. It probably really does the same thing as those pills. Because what we end up seeing is, you know, young kids, especially kids, athletes, hurt their back, whatever. They're given medications, and before you know it, they are hooked on the opiates. And good kids, you know, athletes, students, and all that, kids who would never do drugs, all of a sudden, a few months later, have needles in their arms, and because they're using heroin because they can't afford the prescription medication. Therefore, it's important to remove the prescription medications from the area. I think we've done a lot of great work here in the Commonwealth with Governor Baker. A lot of the legislators have worked hard to get a physician monitoring program so that they're no longer willy-nilly signing prescriptions that would give out too much medication. Now they give you a much lesser amount. I think that's a good thing. But like I said, the other avenue that we see seniors getting involved in the opiate problem, especially in our county, is because the average person who is passing away in our county is between the ages of 20 and 39, which is basically your child rearing years. So you end up seeing the parents of children either passing away or going to rehab, and they can't take care of themselves, much less their kids. So therefore the grandparents are getting involved, and once again, becoming parents all over again.
Grandparents raising grandchildren.
Right, which is incredibly difficult to do.
Yeah.
The laws here in Massachusetts really aren't made for that. And it's not unusual, because a lot of what we see in our county, a lot of our care and protections for the kids that are filed by the Department of Children and Families, a lot of those have gone up an incredible amount because of the fact that you're trying to get the kid away from a parent who perhaps is a user. And then many times it's not unusual to see a parent with their children tussling with their parents who want to get their grandkids away from their child who's a user. It's incredibly difficult to do. There's not resources for it. I mean, let's face it, everybody's on fixed incomes. You can't all of a sudden go from, you know, living your own life, all of a sudden taking care of a 5 or 6 year old child. Now you're going to do it because it's your grandkid. You're going to do it anyways. Yeah. But you know, it's not easy.
You'll do the best you can.
That's right. It's not easy to do that. It's an incredible challenge to do that. But we see more and more of that. And until we get ahead on the front end of the opiate problem, I think that we're going to continue to see that happening. In our county last year, in 2016, we had 142 fatal opioid overdoses.
Wow.
You know, this year so far, we're probably a little bit less than that. But the numbers that really get my attention is that myself and our sheriff and our local police department have developed programs, Plymouth County Outreach and also Plymouth County Hope. And now when somebody overdoses, police officers and social workers will go to their homes the next day and try to get help for those people. That's great. But so far we've had more than 1,400 overdoses in our county this year, 120 or so of which have been fatal. So we've made, I think, a lot of progress. But we have a long way to go. And it's such a big, expansive issue right now that seniors are certainly involved at all levels and we need help from seniors, obviously taking care of their grandkids, making sure that we can make sure the kids are safe, and also at the same time get rid of those medications that they don't need anymore.
Wow. I want to talk to you about this file of life.
Sure.
Tell me about it. What's it for? Where does the money come from that allows you to give this file of life?
Well, the File of Lives have been around for a real long time. They originally were called Vial of Life, and they were left in your refrigerator in a little tube. And really what it is, it's really medical information of what your condition is at your home, so that if an emergency responder comes to your home and maybe you're non-responsive, you can't speak, on your refrigerator, they know to look for the File of Life, and they also know that there's going to be what medications you're on, what your condition may be. So they're going to make sure they're not going to give you something that may hurt you even worse.
Excellent.
And also, and we've been doing that for a really long time in Plymouth County. I know we've given away thousands since I've been DA. I've been DA now. I'm in my 17th year. And we've given away thousands of those over the years. And we also have a much smaller card that people can carry in their purse or in their glove box with a little sticker on the car that says File a Life that people stick on the front left of their windshield. So if, once again, if you're in an accident or if something happens to you and you're non-responsive, the first responders can show up, they know to look for it, and once again, the same thing. They can find out where to get that information. Now, myself, much like all of my brother and sister DAs across the Commonwealth, we're allowed, we prosecute a lot of people who do a lot of bad things. And once again, we just talked about the opiate problem. We're also dealing with drug dealers at many levels who are not users themselves. They sell drugs to make money, and therefore, and they acquire their stuff from making that money. So one thing we're allowed to do is that if we can prove that that money and or assets, cars or homes come from drug forfeiture proceedings, we can go after those monies. We take the monies and say for every dollar, we give 50% of it back to the town that we're working with, and we take the other 50 cents and we put it back into our community. So in my county, what that means, we do a drug education camp every summer. We have more than 800 or 900 kids, from students, peer leaders, junior peer leaders. It is, we have the police, 22 of the 27 communities last year were involved in it. It is absolute organized chaos, but it's a great thing for kids in our county to be able to go for free. It costs nothing, and we use drug forfeited money and a lot of good people who donate various things for us to have cookouts and all sorts of things and lessons for the kids to stay away from drugs. You know, we use that, we donate to many different things, but we also use our drug forfeited money to buy a File a Lives. So we buy a File a Lives with the money from the drug dealers that we prosecute and put in jail. So we continue to do that. I think it's a wise use of the money that we have. It doesn't cost a lot of money individually, but over the years, it certainly has cost money because of the 1,000 we distributed. And I think we certainly will continue to do that so that people can understand that, the important things to have and the things that can help people.
And there's not a lot I remember from the last time you were here, but that is one. The File of Life, very, very important. And it's important for people to know that it needs to be by the front door or by your refrigerator. I once knew a person who kept it in her safety deposit box.
Yeah, that's probably not going to help you.
Not a good thing.
I mean, for the information, it's probably good, but you got to put it in a position. Like some people said that they're concerned about putting like social. We're not looking for any identification information. We're looking for your name. Your name is Tim Cruz. You're at that house. You're on certain medications. Until you get to a hospital, until the EMTs or first responders can stabilize you. Let's make sure they help you and notwithstanding their best efforts, hurt you because they don't know what your status is. And so, I've heard nothing but good things about the File Lives over the years, and we'll continue to do that.
Yeah. Well, you've given us a great deal of your time. Is there anything in particular you would like to leave us with that we might not have touched on at this point?
Well, I just think, I appreciate the opportunity coming here today, but I think people should understand that the District Attorney's Office who works in your various counties work hard every day to try to keep people safe. And we work with a lot of really good people who put themselves in a position to put themselves out there. And we see people usually at a time when it's probably some of the worst times in their lives. So,
absolutely.
So we're professionals at what we do, I believe. I think that we have really good people who are going to help you through and navigate the system of the court system. I always tell all my young lawyers, listen, you know what? The truth hurts sometimes, but we tell the truth. We tell people where we're going to be going. We can talk about the strengths and the weaknesses of our cases. But at the end of the day, our job is to keep people safe. And I think that's what people should understand what we do, and that we work together. We're just a small piece of a big team of people who are working to keep people safe, and I'm proud to be the DA in Plymouth County and work with all my people.
Very good. And you've been doing it for some time, Tim, haven't you?
I'm in my 17th year now, yeah.
Wow, so, excellent.
So it's been a very different long road. The world's changed since then. We didn't really have social media back then, and now everything is social media. Which leads me to other things. I go to schools many times and talk about internet safety and the issues for our kids, and trying to keep them away from predators, and also let them know that in talking to parents, don't let your kids have every access to every application that exists out there. They don't need it. I certainly understand you want to make sure that your kids have access to a phone, especially in today's world, so you can have immediate contact with them. But they don't need to be on every application because it's the thing that their friends are doing. Unfortunately, we live in a world where many parents want to be friends with their kids, And like I always,
Very true.
I often say, I want to be friends with my kids too, but when they're 25 or 26, it's time I'll be their friend. Until then, I'm their father.
That's right. I like it. I like it. Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you, Tim
Thank you.
Cruz, and I'm sorry that I waited so long to have you back, but it's not because of you. It's just because there are so many things happening out there that
I know that.
we deal with.
Well, thanks for having me.
Thank you. And thank you out there for being here. This is your host for Downtown, Robbie Haigh, and I hope to see you again real soon.